What is up, everybody? It is me, DevilNeverCry, and as promised, I'm back with some more DMC content. Now, it's been a while since TJ is finished. It's been a while since my last video. In fact, I've finally gone to sleep. I've had some time to think about things. And as you can see from the title of today's video, we're going to be discussing V's familiars, or his summons. Now, if you want a video that breaks down the ability step by step, I suggest you go check out my main man Rizura. He's already got a video detailing how these summons essentially work. But this video is going to be focusing on the story and lore implications. Because, well, from what we already know, there's some pretty big implications. So without further ado, let's just stop wasting time and dive right in. So let's start with the titular familiar that is featured in DMC5's logo, Griffin. Yes, that's right, you heard me, Griffin. Now of course, the one we see in DMC5 is different to the one we see in the original DevilNeverCry in both size and appearance. However, as you can see in the screenshot here, they both use the same attacks. They both harness the power of lightning, red lightning to be precise, so that's how you know that they're both one and the same. However, that begs the question, what the hell is Griffin doing in DMC5? I mean, for those of you who've played the original DevilNeverCry, you'll know that Griffin didn't actually have a happy ending in that game. The last we see of him is Mundus essentially smiting him for failing to destroy Dante. So I reiterate yet again, what the hell is Griffin doing in DMC5? Well, that's a question I aim to answer by the end of this video. Next, we move on to Nightmare. Yes, you heard me. It's another boss from the original DevilNeverCry game. I'm starting to sense a bit of a pattern here, but I digress. We see Nightmare here in a form that we've never seen him in before. At this point, he's a large, hulking monstrosity, but the argument could be made that's the same for the original DevilNeverCry, but he's standing here on two legs, like a hulking Goliath, ready to take things down. Now, the return of Nightmare in DMC5 is slightly more plausible than the return of Griffin. For those of you who don't remember, Nightmare essentially disappeared in a cascade of light lasers that dissected the room before he vanished entirely. Now, of course, we presume that Nightmare is essentially dead because, you know, we beat him for the third time. However, there's nothing stating that Nightmare was permanently dead. Again, that's why it's slightly more plausible, whereas with Griffin, of course, we saw Mundus just essentially completely destroy him. So let's move on to the final familiar that V holds, and that is Shadow. Yes, as I said, there is a pattern that's formed here, another enemy that's returned from the original DevilNeverCry. Now, of course, this one is the most plausible familiar of them all to have, especially considering there was an abundance of them in the original DevilNeverCry, especially if you played that game on Dante Must Die mode. Now, they may not have been bosses in the original DevilNeverCry, but they still struck fear into the very hearts of players, especially considering their hard-to-kill nature and their massive, massive damage output. So now that's all covered, let's get into the nitty-gritty details. How exactly are they in DMC5? Well, the leading theory is that Mundus is obviously involved in some way. Now, we know that a powerful demon is resurrecting via the words of V in that cutscene when he brings the job to Dante, and if we go by the Japanese translation of that cutscene, a powerful demon that is the very reason why Dante fights. Again, Mundus could be the very reason why Dante fights, considering he's the one that orchestrated the downfall of his family. To add to this theory, we also see the return of Nobodies and the Sin Scissors. Yet again, more enemies from the original DevilNeverCry game. At this point, I'm thinking that they're not just simple throwbacks. Mundus plays a big role somehow. Again, for those of you who remember the original DevilNeverCry game, that castle had a library in it, a very detailed library that was filled to the brim with a bunch of books. Now maybe somehow V managed to get his hands on one of these books, and that's how he's able to recite these incantations, summon these familiars and do all these crazy wacky things. Now, for some reason, some people seem to think that V is a descendant of Mundus, or V is being possessed by Mundus, However, I disagree entirely. That's because I've got my own theory that I've been working on since about 2 or 3 months ago, I want to say, and now that we've gotten this new footage, that previous theory of mine has only been solidified. That big theory video of mine is coming out very, very soon, so I suggest you stay tuned. Other than that though, what exactly do you guys think about this? Did any of you see this coming in terms of the DMC throwbacks? Are you guys happy that we've got this many throwbacks, or would you wish that Capcom would just move on? Let me know what you guys think. It has been me, DevilNeverCry. I would like to thank you for watching, and as always, I'll see you next video.